Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, Technical Trader, and it's Tuesday night, March the 29th. Market's still surging forward. Today was an exceptional day for the bulls. Volume was light, but the technicals were good, and lots of stocks were moving and breaking back out. Good example of stocks breaking back out. Allot Communications, which had a tremendous uptrend, broke down in March, snapped back, formed a kind of a wedge, would look kind of bearish at the time, but today a break back out, a key breakout back above the moving averages, the 21 and 50-day moving average, and right now it looks like it's snapping back to retest the highs up around 16 3/4, my next target on a lot. And if you get through that, then I'd be looking for something close to 20. AVL, among the rare earth stocks that had a great day today, AVL popped out of the 3-day flag with a thrust on volume. 9.36 million shares traded, up 92 cents, or almost 13%. But the key to today's action is that this lateral price resistance was broken, and the stock appears to be on its way to retesting the high at about the 850-60 zone. And if it gets through that, and it may do that tomorrow, we can see a strong move. It takes us up towards the low teens, around the 12.5 range would be my target for Avalon. Clean energy, which may benefit from the president's speech tomorrow about alternative energies. Today had a nice little surge from 14.10 to 15.13. It did back off to close at 14.93, still up 43 cents on 2/3 million. Notice that the surge in technicals has the on-balance volume at a new high for the year, as is the money stream. Balance of power, green. Technicals look good enough for this stock to break out of this declining tops line and make a run back up towards the 18-19 zone. That's my short-term trading target for CLNE if it does get a breakout. Dendreon acting very well of late. Take a look at the thrust in the last 4 sessions. That's taken it from under 32 to over 36 and across 2 levels of resistance and through its 50-day moving average, which means that Dendreon may make a run at testing the 38.5, 39 zone up along these highs here. And that would be a key for a continual movement. If it gets to get through that, look for something on an intermediate basis closer to 44. INPH has a significant day, I believe, potentially, with a thrust of 78 cents or 13%. The volume increased to the best in 3 weeks. It looks like it broke this declining top line or a little wedge pattern right there. And at this point, it moved towards the top of that channel around the $8 level is my short-term target for INPH. Jazz Pharmaceuticals has been fantastic this year, and look at the move on this stock since the breakout in November when it has its breakaway gap. Flagged and kept stair-stepping its way higher, consolidating along the way. You can see that this rising wedge here was broken with a thrust to the upside, or up 212 today, or 7% on 1.4 million. That's the best volume in about 8 sessions. And at this point, I'm looking for a move to the mid-30s, my trading target near the top of the longer-term channel, perhaps even as high as 36 or 7. LogMeIn. Well, 4 days ago, the stock had a terrific price volume surge, which broke back through the declining tops line, 21-day moving average, 50-day moving average, and lateral resistance. It backed off this declining tops line, but held the 50 on the pullback and lateral price support there, and then pulled back and popped again. Today up 208 or 5%, 400,000 shares traded, but it looks like this could make a run at the highs around 47, and we'll set that as our trading target. Big day for MCP as well. You can see that the lateral price resistance at this line here, which is a key resistance for the last 2 months, was taken out with a thrust on 12 million shares, up 414 or 7.5%. At this point, it looks like a fait accompli that it'll test the 62.80 range, maybe as quickly as tomorrow. But if you step back and look at the longer-term channel, it looks like this thing could be headed for the 80s or even 90s longer term. But on a short-term basis, I'm looking for 68.70 on it if it gets past that 62.80 range. NXPI, another one of our favorites, had a big day today, up 260 or 9% on 3.4 million. The second heaviest volume this year, and a run at the 34.5 range, which was the spike high here at the very beginning of March, could be tested and taken out, and I'm setting a target at the top of the channel around 40. OVTI also had a special day today, up 272 or 8% on 5 million plus shares. That's the biggest volume in 3.5 weeks. Broke out across the early March high to a new all-time high today, above 36. That's the first time in history that stock has made it above 36, split adjusted. Right now, my target around 40 on that stock at the top of the channel. Parker Drilling has been running of late, particularly the last two sessions where it broke out yesterday and followed through nicely. Today up another 5% on 3.3 million. A 32-cent gain to 691. It tagging 7 at the high. But my short-term trading target is 7 3/4 at this long-term lateral resistance line right up in here. Beyond that, maybe something around 10 could be doable. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though. The stock's a bit overbought short-term. I kind of, like it was here, and I kind of expect some kind of backing and filling in the zone. Ritchie Brothers Auctioneers, big day also, popped for $1.32 or 5% on 1.2 million, and it moved across key lateral resistance. At this point, looking for move up to the 28.5, 29 zone. And we'll see if we can get above that. RDY, Dr. Reddy, popped out today across lateral price resistance and completed this mini base pattern or head and shoulders type pattern. The move should take us to about 38 to test this little snapback high here at the beginning of January. If it gets through 38, 38.10, I would expect it to reach up into the 40, 42 zone. REDF still purring like a kitten after a 4-day run, a 2-day back off on low volume, which held a 50-day moving average, and you can see how the pullback on low volume held the technicals up very nicely. Today, popping 70 cents or 10% on 1.25 million, and it looks like if we can get through the $8 range, which is right now lateral price resistance across this line here, that we can see a quick move up towards the 9 3/4, 10 zone, and then beyond that, intermediate target around 12.5, 13. REE, another rare earth stock with a good day today, up $1.21, almost 10% on 8 million shares. The biggest volume traded since back in early January, and this stock could be headed for a quick test of 15, 15.25. My short-term target, secondary target around 18 at the January high. Smart Technologies had an interesting day today. This multi-month coiling base was broken today with a pop of 40 cents or 4% as volume increased to 1 million shares. You can see that's the heaviest volume going back about a month. And at this point, if we get a follow through to $10, I think that SMT could make it up to fill the gap up around 11.90-12 range. TXCC just running wild, but finally got some profit taken intraday as it ran up to my target around 5.25, reaching 521. Backed off to close at 461, nevertheless still up 7.5% on 5.5 million shares. Heaviest volume ever in the stock, going back years. I won't say ever. Let's say, yep, heaviest volume day it appears in a very, very long time. So anyway, expect some sort of consolidation pullback in near here, but our next target will then be up around 6.25. UNIS acting very nicely. It broke its declining top line a few days ago, and ever since then it's formed a very nice little bull pennant or coil here. Wedge, let's call it a wedge. If it breaks out, the next target is 632. That's a key one because it represents this here. But what I'm really looking for is a move towards $7 short term. That's my target. And lastly, today's VDSI, which spiked up 219 on 18.5% on 1.5 million shares. Also, the heaviest volume in many years for the stock, going back at least 3 years. And at this point, with the spike up near long-term resistance and the stock being overbought short-term, I would expect potentially the stock to back and fill, maybe form another complete pennant or flag or something of that nature. But if it should get through here, it could spike quickly up to 16. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Good luck tomorrow. We'll talk to you tomorrow night.